There's a strange moment that comes after awakening, a moment when you feel compelled to share what helped you get there. You want to pass on the method, the practice, the path. You want to say, "This worked for me, maybe it will work for you." But here's the paradox. The second thing you must never share is the specific practice that worked for you. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Surely, if something led you to clarity, it's worth recommending. But awakening isn't a recipe. It's not a formula. It's not a pill you can prescribe. What worked for you worked because it matched your temperament, your timing, your particular flavor of confusion. Imagine 5 people with headaches. One takes a nap, one drinks water, one meditates, one takes aspirin, one cries. Each headache had a different cause. Each remedy worked for that person in that moment. Now imagine telling all 5, "You must meditate. That's the cure." Suddenly, the remedy becomes a trap. Spiritual practices are like that. They're medicine, not doctrine. I might sit quietly and watch my breath. And in that stillness, I might see through the illusion of the separate self. But if I tell you, you must sit and watch your breath, you might sit for years watching, waiting, and wondering why nothing happens. Because your knot is different from mine. Your illusion wears a different mask. There's a story of a student who came to his teacher and said, "Master, I've been meditating for 5 years, just as you instructed, and I still haven't awakened." The teacher smiled and said, "Perhaps you should stop meditating." The student was stunned. "But you told me to meditate." "Yes," said the teacher, "and now I'm telling you to stop." You see, he had turned meditation into another form of striving, another way of trying to become something he thought he wasn't. But awakening isn't about becoming. It's about seeing. Stop trying to be awakened and notice if you're not already awake. The moment you give someone a method, they turn it into a goal. If I do this practice correctly, I will achieve enlightenment. And now they're further from truth than when they started. Because they've created a future moment where they imagine they'll be complete. But awakening isn't in the future. It's only now. It's not something you build. It's something you notice. The third thing you must never share are your insights about other people. This one's tricky, because once you wake up, you begin to see people clearly. You see through their masks, their defenses, their stories. You can tell when someone is operating from fear, when they're protecting an image, when they're lost in their own illusion. And there's a powerful temptation to help, to point it out, to say, "Look, can't you see?" But this is almost always a mistake, because people don't see themselves until they're ready. And when they're ready, they'll see it themselves. They don't need you to tell them. In fact, if you tell them too soon, you'll only create resistance. Imagine a butterfly struggling to emerge from its cocoon. You think, "I'll help, I'll cut it open." But if you do, the butterfly dies. Why? Because the struggle is what strengthens its wings. Without it, it cannot fly. In the same way, people need to wrestle with their own illusions in their own time. Your insight, delivered too early, might actually harm them. I remember sitting with a friend who was venting about work. He'd been passed over for a promotion, and he was convinced his boss had something against him. Now, I could see quite clearly what was happening. My friend had a certain arrogance, a way of dismissing others' ideas that made him difficult to work with. That was the real reason. But did I tell him? No, because he wasn't asking to see himself. He was asking for validation of his story. If I'd said, "Actually, you're rather arrogant," he would have become defensive. He might have ended our friendship, and he still wouldn't have seen the truth, because he wasn't ready. So I listened. I nodded. I made sympathetic noises, and then, months later, without any prompting, he said, "You know, I think I might have been a bit difficult to work with." There it was. The insight arose in him naturally, when he was ready. The awakened person learns to trust this process. They don't rush around trying to enlighten everyone. They understand that consciousness unfolds in its own time, like a flower opening in the morning. You cannot force the petals open. You can only provide the right conditions and then step back. And that's the paradox of awakening. The more clearly you see, the less you need to say. In part 3, we'll go deeper into the void, into freedom, and into the paradox of living awake in a world of rules. It's the most delicate part of the journey. For now, thank you for watching until the end. If this video resonates with you, please subscribe and join me for the final chapter.